Welcome back to Technology Review. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Technology Review TV. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you'd like our show. Find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Mac Jackson Jr. or on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/Mac Jackson Jr. Or better yet, you can go to my website at macjacksonjr.com. Lots of ways in social media, folks, to find us out there, and with chock full of information regarding identity theft and fraud prevention and mitigation. In this segment, we call the Business Spotlight. In this Business Spotlight, we talk about what businesses need to know and why businesses are the number one source of identity theft and cybercrimes. They're the number one source because they are the banks. They are the electronic bank vaults, folks. Information is a new currency, and cyber criminals are looking for that information where they can sell it, turn around and sell it to other thieves around the world. And I have a great example of that for you in this segment here. But first, we'll talk about cyber news of the week. This week, Homeland Security officials stated that Russian government actors tried to hack into the U.S. election systems in 2016 in over 21 states. Now, what does this mean to you? Well, that means that investigations have shown that over 21 states have had some sort of cyber attack by Russian actors. Now, it could have been other countries as well, North Korea or others, but the investigations are showing right now that at least 21 states. So the question is, what did they do? Did they affect the election? Well, the first investigation have shown that the hackers went into the voting databases of these different states, of the 21 states, and tried to affect them by taking voters' rolls, deleting voters from the list. So what would that do, folks? When you show up to election knowing that you're a registered voter and your name is not on the list, it would cause chaos. Yes, that's right, folks. Cause chaos and cause people to walk away from voting, meaning less people will be voting. And that's exactly what our enemies want to do, show that chaos in our democracy, in our system, because they do not like the way of life that we're doing right now. So it's important that we all be aware of that. We all know what's going on. And law enforcement and officials from all the 50 states are on top of this and looking to mitigate these factors and not allowing these hackers to have any other access to it. But this doesn't stop, folks. The war is not over with yet. Cyber crimes and cyber terrorism, the cyber war is on. It's been on for several years. It's just now coming out through the media that we've gone through this. So what's important for you? Education. That's important for you. That's your tool, your weapon in defending your privacy, your individualism against cyber hackers is education. The former Homeland Security Secretary, Jake Johnson, testified at a Senate subcommittee meeting this week and stated that there has to be a collaboration between government and businesses in order to combat the threats of cyber attacks by foreign entities. What does that mean? That means information needs to be shared back and forth. If we see something, we say something, we report it. We make sure the awareness is out. That's the best way that we can fight against this. Here's another extreme example of what's going on when I mentioned cybersecurity database breaches in our society right now. Did you know that recently it has been reported and now open to the media that 200 million voters, their records were available in a database? A subcontractor, either on the DNC side or the RNC side, left a database that had personal identifiable information we called PII available on the internet. It was a URL you can go to without a user ID and a password, and you can be able to download personal identifiable information of voters. For example, information of where they live, their phone number, what type of sports they're into, what type of activities, how many kids they have, their income base, all of that information. Let me tell you, folks, this information is a gold mine to cyber hackers. This is the information that they need to bring down to the darknet and match it up with information that they've stolen. Now they can reproduce your individual IDs, your individual profiles. So it's very, very important that from this point forward, we all check our information, our personal identifiable information from all databases which we know of, make sure they are correct, and also monitor all of your transactions that you do, from the financial to your medical, all of it. You monitor. You go to the doctor, You make sure that you see a receipt or look online and make sure that transaction is recorded correctly and there's no additional transactions within your name or your account number. Your children as well. These type of attacks, folks, can be very stealth-wise because we're dealing in technology. In other words, once a hacker can break into a computer system and look at a database, they don't necessarily have to move any data around or touch anything to leave a fingerprint they were there, where the end user would notice. Now, cybersecurity experts, they'll be able to find out through log reports who's been into their system. However, the end user may see that the data looks fine, but all they need to do is take a picture of it or a copy of it. Folks, you know how easy it is to cut and paste, right? Well, information could be cut and pasted out of a database instantly, and this information can then be sold to the black market. So that's why it's extremely important that you have an awareness going on in your organization. That's the cyber news on this particular episode. So I asked you the question, what is the biggest cybersecurity threat for businesses? And it relates to our previous story in news. The biggest threats are businesses are not mapping the cybersecurity threats to their bottom line. That's right, folks. Even with the reports you heard just a few seconds ago regarding cybersecurity news, companies and businesses are still not making that leap towards investing in cybersecurity just until recently. There has been a new report that businesses are now starting to invest in cybersecurity awareness, and that's why it's important. It's important that companies, every member of the company, understands their duty, their responsibility to protecting their customers and their company's personal data. And it's starting to happen, folks. It will get even better. This is our best defense, and it starts by training. Have your individual employees that work within your organization trained on what to look for. They may see suspicious transactions like a phone call coming in from someone pretending to be a previous employee that lost their ID, lost their access card. They may pretend to know the owner. They may even have access to information regarding the owner to get past the secretary, to get past the front desk person in order to get to the actual owner. There may be emails that are sent to someone in your organization that looks very official from someone outside of your organization, or maybe even from someone inside your organization. We've seen stories, folks, where employees will receive emails from their financial officer, chief financial officer, asking for a wire transfer to be transferred to a different bank. Yes, an email corresponding back and forth where the employee actually thought they were talking to their boss, the head honcho, and it turns out they were not. They were talking to a cyber thief that was trying to coerce, using social engineering, to get the individual to send wire transfers to another bank. That's why it's important. Once employees are trained to look for this type of suspicious activity, and then once that's done, we can recreate the policies, revisit corporate policies and training, and make sure individuals understand what to look forward to. Once it happens, folks, then we can have a strong shield against cyber attacks. For more information on this, if you'd like to find out how to protect your business and to make sure that they are trained, check out one of our workshops at MJ Computer Concepts, Cybersecurity Awareness Education. We'll train your employees to the latest of what's going on in cyber criminals. I also want to give a quick shout out thanks to the U.S. Secret Service yesterday, appearing at our Lunch and Learn at the Switch Innovation Center here in Las Vegas. His name is Jacob Sinko. Thank you, Agent Sinko, for being a part of it and giving us a plethora of information. Boy, he was amazing. Really mesmerized the audience of information that's going on regarding cybersecurity, things that we've been talking about for years. We've had it validated by having a U.S. Secret Service at our Lunch and Learns. You can find out more by being a part of our Protection Connection group, folks, and you can have access to all this information to stay one step ahead of these cyber thieves that are out there. They're trying to get our information. And again, the best way is to go to my website at macjacksonjr.com, sign up to be a part of our Protection Connection community. We'll let you know when our next event's happening, and our Lunch and Learns are for free. Yes, that's right, folks. Our Lunch and Learns are for free here in Las Vegas. But then sign up and register for our workshops so we can train your employees on cybersecurity awareness education. Folks, we'll be right back after these messages.